Check one, check two.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skepetic podcast. I have my really good friend with me, Ken from We Are One podcast. Me and Ken have done a lot of shows together in the past, and we always Ken always brings like really interesting subjects to talk about. But what I want to say first is remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm seeing some channels that cover, like, I'm not going to mention them because I don't want to talk crap on anybody's channel, but they're actually doing good well on subscriptions. They're getting like, some of the channels I just saw were like 20,000 subscribers. Now they're up to 30,000 subscribers, and they're covering like more service level, like truth. They're not going into like the deep stuff like we do on this channel. So, remember to subscribe. That's really important, and share the videos too. Anyway, what do you think's going on with this realm though? Like, have you came to any like conclusions to like, do you think we're in like a simulation, or what do you think it seems more to me like we are, but I can't prove it though, but what do you think? Like,
well, I mean, I think it is provable. I'm not sure if there's just stuff that I see all the time on YouTube or I mean, YouTube is not doing documentaries necessarily, but people sharing their stories, sharing their information. It's definitely something that I've experienced in dealing with things that appear, reappear, get created. I mean, I've had those symbols in my car happen and then disappear. Memories in general. I mean, the Mandela effect stuff is just seems to be almost proof that the reality that we live in is based on the past. And our bodies are generated, our feelings are generated by past emotions, and they seem to inflict pain, suffering sometimes, and really influences your future of things that can happen, and just the creator being that we are meant to be, or that most of us are meant to be. So I had a kind of an epiphany moment about the Mandela effect and memories and things like that. If you've experienced it, I'm talking about, where it's a memory that you had. And I started thinking about maybe instead of trying to explain why, or how it's happening, explain why it's happening. And I think that we get attached to emotions, and we get in this these feelings and attaching situations, and kind of defines who we are. We kind of self-define that. And it kind of limits us in terms of what we can create. So I started thinking the Mandela effect was kind of like the creator, basically showing us not to be tied to the past, that it's not only fluid, but it can be changed. And the reason it can be changed is because we are creator beings that are supposed to be not tied to a situation that happened, meaning that if we can detach from that, we can actually create a lot better than if we are attached to something that is making us feel that we are a certain way or limited. If that makes any sense.
What do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean? Like, I think
the Mandela effect is like proof that that our memories. So we live in the present, basically, right? We remember the past, we live in the present, and we create for the future. So the Mandela effect's telling us that those of us who are aware and that can create our own manifesting, our own creation of life, our own eternal, whatever whatever way you want to put it. If you detach from the memory of what happened as if it almost didn't happen the way you thought it did, just forget that any way that it happened, and start feeling like we are living we're present beings, basically. And once we can detach from the past situations or things that happen, knowing that they're fluid, we can create basically without limitations.
So you're just saying that the Mandela effect showing those of us that are awake that we're trying to create in our own timeline.
Yeah, it's basically telling us that the past is malleable. The memories that we have are malleable, and that we're only living in the present to create the future.
Yeah. Dean Thorpe says the unexplainable opens the mind and stimulates imagination.
Absolutely. Once you realize that this is a place where you can create and you can change things, you start seeing all kinds of crazy shit. I mean, and again, it doesn't really matter whether it's true to someone else or true to you. It just matters how you interpret it. And
You think that's why a lot of people are seeing like UFOs and having experiences and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think they're open to it. Yeah, they're basically inviting it, and the stream of consciousness again. It's all simulated. I mean, everything's energy. There's nothing in this world that's actually solid. It's all manipulatable.
So, do you think that UFOs would come from outside the realm? And so, okay, so I have so many questions. So, do you think that in your mind that means that we're plugged in somewhere, that we're like asleep somewhere,
Yeah,
and we're
yeah. I think
like
this is
dreaming
definitely a
this
dream.
future?
This is definitely a dream, and you can see evidence that everywhere. I mean, if you look up at the sky, look at the moon, and you see the phases of the moon. The phases of the moon aren't what they used to be. They're not what they used to be 5 years ago. You'll see, not only the smiling cat moon. I'm having a brain fart. You'll see different things from the phase of the moon. If you go to look at the phases of the moon and you see the bottom is illuminated, the top is not. There's no model that can show you that's supposed to be what it is. You can Google it. You can look up any YouTube videos. There's no models that show how you can get that particular reflection of the moon from that standpoint. It's just the way that things are in perspective. You just can't do it. So there's a reason why there's no models like that. So what I'm saying is, once you realize everything is simulated, then you'll start seeing all kinds of stuff that's unexplainable to you. Do you think what you're saying also has to do with expansion, things moving farther, expanding? If you're talking about the matter in space, I don't believe space exists. I don't believe it's possible. Although I do think that we can explore things like no man's sky. It's just it's the observer effect. Once you look at it, you can create what you're looking at. And I think that absolutely you can. But as far as space and planets, that's not provable to anyone. There's never been a photo of the Earth from space. There's never been a live video. There's never even been curvature considering that. Is space an illusion? I don't know if it's necessarily an illusion. I think I think space is there. If you're asking my opinion of if there is space, yes, I think we're looking at it. I don't know what it is. I mean, to me, I bought a telescope, try to look at the moon, look at the stars, and it's like you're looking underwater at these things that are shimmering. I don't know anything for a fact, so I'll say that out loud. But there's no way the sun is that far away from us. It's not possible. The way that you can fly in an airplane at dusk and see the light coming from all angles. So the sun could be over here. You could be flying this way, and in the other section, there's light coming straight down, whereas the horizon in the dusk is completely below the horizon. So there's no way that what's explained to us is actually legitimate.
Yeah. The Andromedan says it is. What is he saying? It is different than the Earth scientist presents.
I mean, I believe you can see it. I mean, obviously, we can see it with our own eyes. It's obviously there. I don't think that those are planets. I don't think that those are places we could actually travel to. I don't think it's possible.
Toss out the as above, so below, because there's no as above or below. They're just thoughts.
I think what I agree with a lot of that. I believe there is no below. First of all, they've never dug more than 7 miles, I believe, below the Earth's surface. I don't believe the Earth is a mantle, a core, a crust, hot lava down there. It's ridiculous.
You don't think there's inner Earth or any beings in there?
Oh, well, you can go down. I'm not sure how far down you can go. It's possible. I mean, we could be in a dimension where you could go down for sure, or where it could be matter down there too. It's definitely possible. We're not in a globe. I mean, we're not in a ball to drill down and you can get to China from the other side of Florida. That's not possible.
Yeah. Miranda Anderson says the atmosphere causes the shimmer and twinkle.
What atmosphere? She's talking about the how far you can see.
Yeah, remember they're listening to what we say like a little bit before, so they might have been talking about something we were talking about before. You know what I mean?
I mean, the fact that you can't see. I mean, you can watch a plane, or you could watch. I mean, the moon never disappears. In terms of the distance from your eyes, the sun never really disappears from your eyes. It shrinks, or it could be going away. That's possible too. But as far as like a plane that goes, a mile into the distance, disappears. Yet the moon is 100,000 miles away or 220,000 miles away is ridiculous. I mean, that whole thing is ridiculous.
Yeah,
you can't see more than a few miles through the atmosphere.
And she says it's like seeing a mirage on a road.
Yep. I mean, for sure. It's what we observe. I believe that we're all researching and able to observe what we're looking at, and don't let somebody tell you some nonsense theory about what it is that they can't prove. Obviously there are a lot of things that we are not here to prove ourselves. We're here to rely on other people, but our own discernment is a valuable tool in what we're here to do or what we're here to believe.
So do you think we're here to learn? Do you think that's the thing on this whole matrix?
I think we're here. I think we're here to experience, and I think we're here to detach. I think the entire purpose of life is to detach from the situation, because we're not really here. So we are experiencing it. I believe that there is suffering here. I believe that there is, realm death, realm perishing. I think that there are a lot of. So we are projecting. There's a lot of things that go on that we cannot comprehend, basically.
Yeah. She says, so are we projections? Are you talking about a holographic universe?
This is a holographic universe, for sure it is. Nothing is mass. Everything's moving. So, if everything's moving, the double slit experiment, I don't know if I said split or slit. The double slit experiment, the observer effect. All those things prove basically the same thing, is that we're all projecting our consciousness into what we want to see.
Gina, she said, so we're the projector. Yeah, if you look up, there was this video done by Gerald Clark and Matt LaCroix back in the day. It's called The Master Plan. And they talk about Michael Talbot's The Holographic Universe. And in that, they say that there's certain things, it's not the rods and cones in our eyes, but there's something else that makes us everything would be like holographic, but there's something in our eyes that make everything perceive like it's real and solid. But it's weird though, because
I don't think it's our eyes, Rob. I think it's just our link in the back. I don't know if it's our neural system or if it's just how we perceive the neural system. There are so many things that are absolutely unexplainable.
But then we feel it. I'm feeling my desk now. It feels solid. It feels solid.
It's your link. You're neurologically locked in to whatever this is. I can tell you. So let's take this question. Anyone knows this? Anyone knows this? Who all has done 10 push-ups, 20 push-ups?
Me.
Do you think
100?
Right, done 100. So what do you think the world record is for push-ups?
I used to be able to bang out 50 at a time.
How many do you guys think is the world record for push-ups without looking it up? How many can a human body actually do? How many would it be possible to do?
I would say probably maybe 1,000.
How long would that take you?
That would take me a long time. That would take me, if I could, I would say maybe I could do 20 or 30 right now at once. So I would have to do them in sets all day of 30.
10,507.
What? That's insane.
Now ask yourself how that is absolutely possible. If you're talking about, everyone here has been out of breath. So what if I told you that you're out of breath because your brain's telling you you're out of breath, not because you're really out of breath? Look at David Goggins, the shit that guy's done. Look at the guy who did 10,507 push-ups. I'm pretty sure he could keep going. What I'm telling you is your brain controls all of it. So if your brain controls all of it, and some of you have listened to Joe Dispenza and some of the stuff that he pushes, I'm not behind all of the things that he pushes, but I absolutely believe that we're limited by our past memories, our what we've been programmed to learn to do. I don't know if what would happen if we taught a child that they were never going to die? What would happen if we taught a child that disease didn't occur? What would happen if most of you guys have kids, or some of you guys have kids. I have a 9-year-old and a 23-year-old. Have you ever watched the kid hit their head hard as a rock, fall down the ground when they're 2 years old, and they get up and they don't think it even hurt? And then all of a sudden everyone makes commotion about it, like, oh my God, are you okay? And then the next time they do it, they're like, and they start crying. Now, why did that happen? We basically are situational responders to everything going on around us. So, that's kind of what I believe. I definitely believe in the placebo effect. If you looked at that stuff where the one of the first instances of the placebo was a nurse gave a war patient saline instead of methadone, or I'm having a brain fart, whatever. But they didn't actually give them the drug, and they were calm because they thought they were getting it.
Not methadone. What's that thing they give people? It's called it's an opiate. I know what you're talking about.
But I mean, some of these things of the placebo effect of hypnotism, of split personality disorder, where the split personality patient thinks they're a 90-year-old person, and all of a sudden their eyes.
Here's the best this thing. Think about how how do frequencies and binaural beats work? Like there's people that have put out stuff for you're gonna find this amazing. So this has to do with like the placebo. There's people that put out binaural beats for medicines. Like so, like for example, like say you have like a certain like for example, okay, this is the best way to put it. My friend was telling me about like certain nootropics, the limitless pill, Provigil. Someone put out a binaural beat for that, and it gives you the stimulant effect of what Provigil would give you.
Subconscious reactor to your neurological system. I mean, so we also have to remember that whether history it has been told the way we think it has been or not, technology has been there. The wireless. I mean, all right. So I'll get a little crazy for you guys here. I think technology has always been here. I just think that we are now tapping into it. So, for instance, if we had a device that could tap into the wireless network, I think that we could have done this a long time ago. The network's always been there. The ether's always been there. The frequency's always been there. The energy's always been there. We just keep figuring out how to manipulate it, and that's what technology does. It is actually tapping into what's around us, what's there, what's in the realm, as opposed to us building a whole network. Maybe some of you guys can try to figure out how we had a wireless phone go to the moon. When there were no satellites, there was no radio waves can't go that far, 200,000 miles. Like there's all these questions that you start realizing when you start asking.
Wait, we had a wireless phone go to the moon?
Yeah, well, Nixon called the astronauts on a phone, and it's supposed to be through radio waves or wireless waves. I mean, there's no what tower could project that? What big ass satellite this could have gotten him to the moon? Could have heard that? It's not even possible. It's not replicable. Excuse me.
Yeah, I guess nobody really thought about that. Like Dennis Lindsay said it was a very long cord. It's hilarious.
There's a map on TikTok that shows the landlines actually run through the oceans, and they connect from continent to continent, and it's on like a flat Earth map. So they're like, well, there's no such thing as Wi-Fi. It's all connected below the Earth. It's to the oceans. And if you look at you can actually Google that and look that up too. There's a network of cables running in the oceans, as opposed to Wi-Fi, which seems to make sense when you're on an airplane and you can't get a signal, although it's just aluminum.
Yeah. I was gonna say, what was it? I just lost my train of thought. It was something interesting.
So I saw Moneybags put out a video the other day, and I try to follow some of his stuff every once in a while. But it was an interesting question because I have a 9-year-old, and he posed the question that
who's Moneybags?
Moneybags. He's the Mandela effect guy. He does a lot of videos on Mandela effect, but he just asked the question that I've been asking for years: if we're all the same, if all people are the same. Basically, we all want to say we are one human being species, but I don't think that's true. And I don't know if it's because of our consciousness levels are different, if they're heightened, if they're lowered. But we've all seen this in the past few years where people were wearing things on their faces in their own cars, in their own houses, protecting themselves from themselves. And you have to ask, what's going on in their head? Like, I mean, is anybody in there? So the video that he put out basically asked somebody if they have any internal dialogue. And the question was posed, do you think that everyone has an internal dialogue? When we log off, YouTube, or when we log off this chat, what are we thinking about? Are we thinking about our day? Are we thinking about next week? Are we thinking about our feelings? Are we thinking about loved ones, memories? What are we thinking about? And the question was posed, do we all have internal dialogue? And I've been saying for a while that I don't believe we do. So I guess what do you guys think about that? Do you guys think we all have internal dialogue? What have you guys seen out there? I know you look at people driving their cars, doing something stupid, and you go, what is that guy thinking? What are they thinking? What is that woman thinking? How could that be a rational thought? And so I asked my 9-year-old, what do you think about? And he didn't really know. And again, I'm not saying that my son is an NPC or I'm not sure what goes on in those levels of cognitive abilities, but we're all kind of programmed. I think that's kind of what we're being deceived to do, is just focus on the things that they want us to focus on, and not what we're supposed to be focusing on, which would be, our own spirituality, our own our own experience, our own potential, our own creator abilities, those kind of things. So what do you guys think about internal dialogue? Do you think that everyone has them, or do you think that some are higher than others? Have you ever experienced something that didn't make any sense to you in someone else?
Dean Thorpe says, internal dialogue is a comforting technique. Andromeda says, I have internal dialogue, maybe higher self.
Yeah, could be. I mean, I guess that is it's definitely a higher consciousness level, the more that you can project it. But again, it goes back to what are we doing with it?
Yeah. Let me see here.
Black goo. What is black goo?
Supposedly that's what killed Max Spears.
It could be some kind of poison. I'm not quite sure.
Miranda Louder says
inner dialogue is definitely programmable, Frankie. Absolutely, it's programmable, and that's the whole point. You got to break out of that. As Jason Bashir says, you got to break pattern. That's where the shit really gets weird. Consider spirit guides possible. It's possible we have a certain percentage of consciousness that's here in this simulation, and it's, you know, there's more somewhere else.
Yeah.
3 to 4 a.m. is a good time for that. 5 a.m. That's a great time for that.
It's an alien AI. So it could be AI. It could be a poison AI. You know, I never thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot of different things as far as, you know, what it's intended to do. I mean, I would think it would be some kind of a programmable distinction that they want us to think that black goo is something, and then they show us black goo, and then it affects everyone in a certain different way.
Oh, Boobster has something for you. She says you should watch. You ever watch Harold Katzvella?
I've never
She
seen
says
it.
You should watch the video from Harold Katzvella on black goo, archons, and AI.
Oh, archons. Let's talk about this. This is a good one. Archons, and potentially AI. Let's talk about this for a second. Have you guys ever heard of the Roko's Basilic? You know what that is, Rob?
No, what's that?
Roko's Basilic is a theory that the AI will generate and punish retroactively those who oppose its convergence into this reality, basically taking over this reality. So it'll actually interfere and come after you in the present if you oppose AI. So the reason I ask that is because the archons and AI potentially could be the same thing. I think it's an interesting potential topic. The second seal, which if you watch Jason's videos on the second seal about taking peace from the earth, I actually had a thought about taking peace from the earth. The real way to take peace from the earth isn't any specific way that we think about. It's actually to tell us that we are being governed, we're being watched, we're being manipulated, that nothing we do is ours. And that would be one way to take humanity's peace. I mean, honestly, that's probably the biggest way to take humanity's peace, knowing that we're being watched or being governed, either mentally, MK Ultra wise, or just that we can't get away. Like we're all in one big brother game. That would be my interpretation of taking peace from the earth. When I started breaking pattern about 5 years ago, I fasted. I just heard some little thing in my head talk about fasting, and I was having some health problems. And then I started researching all these things, and I started realizing that everything you look for is there to find, whether it's a problem or a solution. So the more you can trick your brain and think of looking for solutions and opportunities, the more you'll find them.
Yeah. Frankie says yes, and the agents always say you have to be like everybody else, you know. They want us to be the same. They want us to follow in suit. They want us to be a cog in the machine, you know.
Yeah. I think a good thing that I've tried to, a good mantra I try to live by would be silence is the language of God. I think that's one of the things that I try to do when I get overwhelmed or when I get things coming into me that I don't like. I start falling into traps, negativity. I try to just be silent, stay in silence as much as possible. It's hard when you have kids in a family, but for the most part, detachment, trying to create your own, stop whatever's in influencing you.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Selena. Good to see you. I was going to put her comment up on the screen.
What was the question at Gina? Somebody originally asked something. Empowerment, Dr. Vital empowerment. Tons of the same stuff.
Here's one. This is one from Emma the Cat and Friends. She says, this is a really weird. A woman harassed me 3 times once when I was taking a walk, and twice when I was walking, she said something insulting and ran away.
Yeah.
Could this have been a Matrix agent? I would say so.
I don't know. It's possible. I mean, it's possible. I think that there are people out there that are different. Then there are people different than me. That's all I know. How many of you guys know your blood types?
I do. I'm O negative.
Me too. How many of you guys
are you really? I haven't met too many people that are O negative.
Yeah, you got to eat a lot of iron because you could be potentially anemic. That could be crushing you. Eat a lot of red meat.
I used to love red meat, but now I don't. Now I'm more on like a, I don't know.
There's a book, Eat Right for Your Blood Type. But I mean, these are like synchronicities that just came my way. I didn't even look at that. I mean, I know I'm like part Nephilim or whatever you call. I have mandibular tori in my mouth, so I have like a second row of teeth almost.
Raviq Al Shams Arif, Nate the God. What's up, dude? He says we need copper. I like that dude. He's cool. He comes in my chats every once in a while. I met him in the Killer Priest podcast chat. He was in there, and I think we started chatting. Then he came over here and he started. Oh, he says cacao. By the way, so anyway, it's good to see you, Nate. But he says cacao changed his life.
Are you O negative also? What's his name? Rahib?
He says Raviq Al Shams Arif, but he says Nate the God. So I just call him Nate.
Oh, Nate. Cacao is what? Is that chocolate?
It's like the purest form of chocolate. Yeah, it's like the purest.
So cocoa leaf helps. What blood type is he?
I think he's O negative.
Yes, he's O negative also. So again, I had markers about 5 years ago with lupus. My mom died from lupus, complications of lupus. So when you start feeling like things are going the wrong direction, I had joint pain, horrible joint pain, swelling, things like that. I was always in good shape my whole life, but kind of went, I wouldn't say I went downhill. I just didn't exercise as much about 5 years ago, and went to the doctor, got a blood test, and had some lupus markers, and that changed my whole course of my direction. Started looking into how to heal the body, the placebo, got into everything that you can talk about on Joe Dispenza stuff. And
that's what I wanted to ask you, Ken, because ever since I've had this problem, I haven't talked to you much. We haven't talked that much, but I was going to tell you, I had that problem with my liver where it was weird. It was weird. Like after I went through that breakup, like 3 months after the breakup, I was so messed up over the breakup that I developed this pain. Like if I stand up, this is my ribs right here, right? So it was on the right side under my ribs, and I right here, right? And it'll just come back every once in a while, it'll hurt. And I went to mainstream medical. I didn't want to go through mainstream medical. And my fans already know all this. I've talked about this many times. And I've had all the tests done. I've had cameras over my organs. Nothing came back. You know what I mean? All my times my blood work came back fine. So then my friends who were energy healers thought it might have been stuck energy. So I started messing around with that. But then it turned out to be, I guess I just have fatty liver. So I have to figure out all the best things to reverse fatty liver.
That could be some kind of a gluten thing also. I used to get really bad stomachache pains when I was younger, really bad. They would floor me. I'd have to lay on the ground and just breathe really deeply. Somebody asked about my teeth. It's called mandibular tori, T-O-R-E. It's just where you have extra teeth, in the bottom. I don't know what the hell that is. I couldn't tell you. I've never met anybody that had it, but I've seen pictures of people on the internet with it. It's supposed to be like some quote unquote like Nephilim, like bloodline thing or something. I don't know what the hell it is, but somebody asked about that.
Frankie said, was it the rib? No, it wasn't the rib. It was underneath the rib. It felt like it was a liver. It did feel like it was a liver thing. That's why I kept going back to the hospital, and they couldn't figure out what it was. And then I recently went back again because I lost 30 pounds. And after I lost 30 pounds, it seemed like the pain went away. But then it started to come back a little bit, so I got worried. I went back, and then my blood work came back fine. They said they wouldn't do any more testing on me because my blood work is coming back fine. So,
have you ever tried fasting, Rob? You ever looked at water fasting?
I am going to do it. I do a little bit of fasting, but I'm going to do more. You know, I'm going to do.
Look for. I mean, that could just reset you. I mean, you could do 3 to 5 days of that. You definitely lose some weight. I mean, I have a problem gaining weight now, to be honest. But I'm 48 years old. I started playing soccer again after 20 years. It's very surreal. I used to play competitively in high school, and in college I played, and I hadn't played since I was 24, 25. I started playing again about 4 months ago, and I scored some goals now. It's very surreal. It's almost like this isn't even real. Like,
that's amazing that you're able to do that. Yeah.
When you go into that, you're like, this is just like a dream.
And you did that from fasting.
I started my journey from fasting. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you some incredible, everything that happened in my life, from money being put into my account, from packages being delivered to my house, seeing things. I bought a car, and one day it got cold, and I had like this, I think it's a Gnostic symbol appear in my car. Then it went away and never came back. It was like, I've had some.
You're saying you can manifest your reality. Why do you think I
absolutely? 100%. I know I have. Absolutely. I guarantee you that I have. How I've done it, I tried to recall it and figure it out. But if I could, I'd tell everybody what to do. But I think it's more of a feeling and a frequency than it is an actual hard knowledge of what you have to do. Past life things. Yeah, I don't know. I think, as far as you're concerned, Rob, I would say you should definitely water fast and do 3 to 5 days. I mean, I can tell you, for me, my vision came. Like, I have had blurry spots in my eyes in the morning sometimes, or I get it every once in a while.
What I did was I was doing like kind of like a fast, but what I bought this plant protein shake. It was really good. It had like BCAAs in it. It had like branched chain amino acids. It had like digestive enzymes and probiotics. I figured that would be good for the stomach. I was drinking that, just like protein, like plant protein shakes, and then I was eating watermelon. I felt like if I weighed off the meat for a while too. So it was almost like a fast. And when I did eat, I would either eat watermelon or I would drink a plant protein shake. And it seemed like since I was eating like lighter, things were better too. I want to go back to that. What do you think of that?
I think you need to purge your body. If you have first of all, the body can heal itself for sure, 100%, everything. Most people don't know that actually cancer needs
sugar to survive.
Needs sugar to survive, right? So by water fasting, you can kill tumors. You reset your immune system. You reset your neurological system. I mean, you reset everything by fasting. I think it's. If you're in a certain stage, I probably wouldn't recommend everyone just go and do it. But I think you're not diabetic or type 2 insulin resistant and like that, Rob. So I would definitely do it if I was you. I would just take water, take Himalayan rock salt, drink 6-7 big bottles of water a day. Wait 4 or 5 days. Like I said, my eyesight regained. I went from couldn't see anything in my phone to like boom, clear as a day in like 3.5 days. My energy returned. It was crazy.
Wow.
My metabolism, came back after I started eating again. I felt like I was a teenager again, to be honest. And it comes and goes. It's not like it's going to be like there forever. I know that. I was hoping it would just reset forever, but maybe that's my mentality that I thought it was going to work, but it didn't. So, but anyway, if you get called to do it, go do it.
Yeah. Boopster says she uses a protein powder. She uses chocolate. It's called cachava. Never heard of that. $80 a bag. Holy shit. I can't afford that. That's insane. I wish I could.
Cachava. I'll take a look at that. I take kava every once in a while.
I'm going to definitely get some cacao, though, for sure. Especially after Nate said that. And then he says if you do distilled water, get fulvic acid drops or zeolite.
That sounds like some stuff that was what you should have been taking a few years ago to boost your immune system. I mean, most of us can. Excuse me. Most of us, if we boost our immune system, we can get rid of anything. Just stop
Yeah.
poisoning ourselves. We'll be good. Why would you fast with dead water? Spring water better put life. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's a valid question. I would say that the water is just keeping you alive to purge everything in your body. I don't want to, I don't, if you're talking about potentially putting in certain water that is energized, it's potentially that maybe you can't, kill off the toxins in your body and they won't get flushed. That's just my 2 cents. I don't know. I haven't done it, but I would consider it. Beetroot. I've tried beetroot. That's good for your heart as well.
I got to start manifesting my reality. I got into a slump, man. I don't know, ever since I got home from that conference, things have been so tough, man. I can't explain it. Like, nothing seems to work out for me. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm not doing something right or what like, I don't know. Like, I'm not being a complainer. That's the last thing I want to do is complain,
It's tough. Well, you're human. I mean, you should let yourself experience whatever it is you want to experience, whether it's, feeling down and out, get more sleep. Being active definitely helps your dopamine, exercise, puts you in a better mood. It's tough, man. This is not an easy life necessarily, but I can honestly say that, without this, some people are going to say I'm polishing my bars. Ola Wolney, I had her on my channel set up. She said I was polishing my prison bars. I said, you're crazy. By having a positive attitude about the suffering that I've had and where I've
all the things we're in prison, right? She really thinks that. She really thinks
a lot of people do. And you know what? If that's what you want to explore, I talked to Howdy. He was on the show. Me and Chad talked to him, and we
were supposed to do another show, but he's finishing another book, so he said he has to wait. He wants to wait, because I like Howdy. I wanted to have him back on, but I'll have Ola back on too. But I've had her on, but she I don't know. She's like taking a break, I think, or something. I don't know. I can't remember what.
I mean, you know what? Like I said, I think that we should experience whatever we want to experience. You should forgive yourself, let yourself feel what you want to, and then move on. My whole thing with the soul trap people, putting them into that box maybe not isn't fair because they have time to jump out of it. But if you're gonna be woe is me and say that we have nothing to do, but we're still here, then what are you learning from that? Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be at school necessarily, right? I mean, that's what they want to say. It's either a school or why my memory wiped. They go back to the same things over and over and over again. Well, if you're still here, why wouldn't you try to enjoy it? Is my question.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you at least try to enjoy it? You're here.
Yeah, some people say that having a body is a gift from like we should be like lucky to feel lucky that we're here.
I mean, I think we should at least be have the gratitude to have that point of view. But if you don't, then don't. Don't accept it. That's fine. I'm not trying to change anybody's perspective. I was sitting under that Buddhist tree too for a long time with suffering and wondering why I was here, and I was ready to go. And I think that we should, if we feel like archons are watching us and we feel like we're gonna be deceived at the point of death, then I say let them try, because I forgive myself for whatever I've done, and they can't make me do anything else. Once you forgive yourself, you let it go.
Yeah. The Andromedan says this planet could have been a vacation resort but got hijacked.
Hey, let's talk about the Gnostic. If anybody has not seen the Eric Dubé video, Eric's going on that soul trap rant right now a little bit, but he put out a video a while ago called the Gnostic creation story. Fantastic story. I agree with everything he put in there. Basically said that this realm has been hijacked, that our creator is not. That's why we have the positive and the negative. So perspectualize it any way you want. I think that there are positive and negative things about this realm for sure, but I'm not going to park my car into the soul trap parking lot. That ain't going to happen.
Yeah, Nate says about the body. This is a hilarious one too. Nate says you put low octane in your car. Don't treat your body like a '78 Datsun. You're a Lexus, goddammit.
Yeah,
I love that.
I'm a Tesla man. I'm a recharge by the sun.
Dude, I was in a Tesla last night, man. It was sick. I like whoever can afford this. We got an Uber. I was at the bar with my friend yesterday for a DraftKings party. I'm not into that really. My friend he like wagers a lot with DraftKings, so they invited him down, and they have it was like the kickoff of NFL like first day or whatever. So they had like free food and free drinks. I didn't drink at all. My friend got destroyed. He got hammered. I had to like I couldn't get him out of the bar. Then I had to take his phone because I was like low on my head, like hardly any money. And I couldn't get us an Uber home, so he had to get us an Uber home because DraftKings gave him an Uber credit. Mm-hmm. So I'm like stealing his phone. I'm like, dude, you got to put my address in because I got to come home. I got a podcast to do. And he's like drunk. He's like swearing at people. And it was crazy. It was a horrible experience. It was because I was like, I don't even want to put myself around that environment. I thought it'd be fun.
Trick, not trap. That's a good one. I like that one. That one works for me.
But the Tesla we drove home in was pretty nice. It was really nice. Like, I don't know.
Teslas are a joke. It takes gas to charge them. It doesn't take gas. It takes energy. That's funny though. You could put gas in your generator and charge it. You could do that, but I'm not doing that either. Tony Sayers changed it to Soul Trick from Trap. Yeah, well, Tony's Tony. I wish him the best. Tony will tell you exactly what's going on and get pissed off at his neighbor for yelling at him through the walls. So that's not. I'll never forget that about one of his videos. He was talking about being enlightened, and then he basically said his neighbor was yelling at him, and he was all pissed off and yelling at the neighbor. And I'm like, I guess that didn't work for you, huh? It was interesting.
Dude, Tony's funny. He's funny and he doesn't even know it. I'm not laughing at him. I laugh with him. Yeah. Like he says some really funny stuff. Like he doesn't. I don't know if he realizes it. Like he could be like he's pretty cool. I like him. Like I'll have him on anytime too. He's a good dude.
Boopster says, I know Jason Brashears isn't not into the soul trap stuff. No, I mean I think this realm has been hijacked. I really do. But I think that there are so many choices that we have, and there are so many things to be thankful for here that you could absolutely get your experience ruined. You could spend your entire life pissed off and mad about the suffering of children or whatever, that goes on. And I'm not saying none of that's not horrible. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is when you have a dream, and you dream something horrible and you wake up, you realize that it wasn't real. That's called detachment. That's what I think we're doing here. That's what I think we're here for. So, I mean, at the moment of your death, if you have lived it in the right way and you're good and you don't want to come back, just say you don't want to come back. If I have a choice, I'm going somewhere else. I don't want to come back to the same spot anyway. And I'm not sure that we do regardless. So that's the way I feel about that.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel too. I'm not coming back either.
Boopster, you're right. There's something wrong with this realm, but I don't know that it's the creator. That's all that I'm saying. I don't know how you can surmise that the creator is doing this. I mean, we're all human. We all have free will. Well, maybe we're not all human. Who knows?
Yes, Nate says something's going on. Mandela effects right and left. Don't remember the Monopoly dude. Have your eyepiece, your soul on, probably.
That's another interesting question. I mean, who are you to argue with someone who says they don't have a soul?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to assume that. I'm still, I guess I'm Catholic. I go for the lessons. I go for the learning and try to figure out, because I still have questions. I'm not ruling anything out. But
this is hilarious from Frankie. He says, two souls meet in the afterlife and they ask each other, where have you been? He says, on earth. Oh, really? Tell me how horrible it was. That's hilarious, dude. The audience is great today. They're making me in such a better mood. Thank you guys. This is awesome, because I was really depressed before I did this show, and I have to do a show after this too. But I mean, like, I was really, really down before I did this show. I was really feeling like really low. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I was just like, I was sleeping a lot, and I was like, it was, So,
Boops you're talking about the same thing we're talking about here. Free will is limited. It is limited because we're all being programmed to be a bunch of fear-mongered people or not creators. Yeah, absolutely. Get off the script. If you're a mod on Archaics, I'm sure you agree with what I'm saying anyway about that. So I think hopefully people will at least entertain that thought process that we control our reality, at least in some way. The Three Body Problem was a great show, Miranda. That was a really, I hope they bring it back. They probably are not going to. It was too close to reality. If you've seen the Peripheral, that got canceled. That was too close to reality. They don't like those ones that are too close. They just always seem to kick them off.
yeah.
I didn't see the newest Umbrella Academy, but my wife watches it and I'll ask her how it is.
Karen L says, if I fall off a mountain, I don't have the free will not to hit the ground. So free will is limited.
Okay, we can talk about that. That's an interesting thing. From my perspective, you never die. Your soul's immortal. So I can tell you, if anybody knows who Anthony Peake is, I share his sentiment that our perspective never dies. It's called the observer effect. In case you haven't pondered that part of it. I think that if you fell off a mountain, you wouldn't die. And I'm not going to jump off a mountain just to prove my point. But I don't feel like our perspective would be that we fell off the mountain and died. That's my point. I've had instances happen about things that have affected my body. Basically, was playing golf, walked up to a 10-foot alligator, like a foot from him, and he didn't even move. And I just felt my body in pain, and then basically walked away, and was like, "There's no way that should have happened like that." And so, like, I definitely believe in perspective of the observer effect, not letting us see that, not letting it happen. I don't know if I backed up and stopped myself from that moment of my quote unquote death or walking off of the mountain. Maybe I would have slipped and not fell off the mountain. I don't know. I'm just here to kind of just pay attention to what's going on around us and ask those questions, and then put it into a theory or put it into a formation of those things. But I keep finding these people like Anthony Peake, like Jason. I keep finding these people that consistently point me in the right direction, that I'm on the right track, or that I am at least being open to witnessing what's going on around me. Hopefully, you guys.
I can't believe you were close to an alligator. What was it like?
I mean, I've been close before, but not. There was no reason. I was literally running around the lake to get my ball, and I had my headset on. This was when I was already awakened, and I wasn't paying any attention to the ground. And I was running. I was literally running next to, right around the lake, and I picked my head up at the last second for no reason at all, no reason, and there he was, like 10 feet, looking at me.
Now the crocodiles are more.
Crocodiles. I mean, but again, you look at it like
you have both down there in Florida, though. You have some crazy shit down there.
I think crocodiles are saltwater, so we don't really have crocodiles here. There may be some
in Florida. You have saltwater. You have both. You have gators and crocodiles. Because I've seen some saltwaters in your oceans before.
If we have crocodiles, I wouldn't be shocked, but I have never seen a crocodile. I've seen alligators all over the place. Like alligators on every.
Look up saltwater crocodile in Florida. You'll be surprised. I think they're down there. Like No,
I don't think I will, Rob. I don't want to bring that into my reality. Thanks, buddy. No thanks.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
But it's happened before.
Whatever it was.
These are the things that happen in your life that make you wonder. Like, I was on a plane with my wife, and the plane was rocking. It was storming outside. We weren't above the clouds as far as the storm was concerned. And I don't know why I thought it, but I thought, if this plane went down, would we even know it? Like, I mean, if we died in the plane, would our perspective be that we lived through it? I mean, isn't that like the premise of the shows like Lost and Gilligan's Island and things like that? Like, these are things that you guys should be thinking about. I hope you're thinking about these kind of things, because they're empowering for you.
Nate says, I'm out. I got to go pick up my hormonal test raging 12-year-old from school. My son shot up to 5'9" in 6th grade. Can we say Nephilim genes? That's hilarious. Yeah, he probably does that, but yeah. He said his 12-year-old hormonal test raging son. That's hilarious, dude. I could use some of your son's testosterone. Like, I need, Did your testosterone levels drop when you got older, as your age?
I mean, I'm sure they drop, but I mean, they can they get rebooted again? I'm sure they probably could.
Yeah.
The sun is different. There was a day 2 days ago. The sun keeps changing. The sun and the moon keep changing. You just pay attention to the sun and the moon. You'll never look the same way at it again. Next time you go up on a plane, take a look.
Yeah, it's weird, huh?
It's weird. And have you guys ever thought about the perspective of how the Earth rotates, or rotates 24 hours in one day and 12 months around the year, but it doesn't actually rotate this way. It doesn't change rotation. So in the summer, 4 a.m. or in the summer, basically 6 a.m. should be light, right? So we should be here in the light when it's coming up. Well, if it's coming around the solar system, the other part, it should be dark at 6 a.m. the same way that it rotates. I can't explain it the right way if I had a model, but basically in the summer and the winter, it should be different if it was the same model that we had. Our times today should be different.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
You got to look at a model of how the Earth rotates by the hour, and then where it goes in the solar system. If we went around the sun, it would be flipped. Twice a year, it would change.
Yeah. We should do these more often, Ken. This was fun.
Yeah, this is
just getting on and chatting with the audience. This was really fun.
The sun is different. Yeah, the sun is different. The color is different. There could be multiple suns. We don't know what the hell is going on over here, man. And nobody's asking the right questions either. They just want to cover it up for whatever reason. Who knows?
Yeah. Some people say we have a sun simulator up there, There's
the Earth and the whole solar system is a spiral. Yeah, I bet you we can't prove that. We don't even have a photo of the Earth. We only have images. You can Google that, and then Google what an image is, and find out why there's not 24/7 live feed from the space station. That's not even in the outer orbit. It's only an inner orbit. Heavy timeline shift from 2 days ago. I want to talk about 9/11 today. That was what we were supposed to talk about with Chad, but Chad didn't want to talk about 9/11. Speaking of conspiracies.
We have a couple minutes. We can get into that real quick at the end if you want to. Me and you and Chad watched the video of the second plane going into the building the other day. It looks like the second plane gets enveloped by the building. It looks like it goes in the building and then it just disappears. It's very weird. It's very strange.
It's weird. I saw somebody today. I was watching Loose Change, although the edition they now have on YouTube doesn't have some things that are interesting. If you read the comments, you'll hear people talk about, or they'll talk about the edits that aren't in there now. So they've changed the actual documentary to remove some of the parts, like the Tower 7 on the BBC being spoken that it went down before it even went down. And that was now taken out of there. And there's a few other things taken out of there. Somebody in the comment section that I was watching or reading said that when the so-called planes came over the city, there was no earth-shattering noises. It was quiet. I don't know what plane can go 450 miles an hour in through a city and have not shake the ground. In fairness, I saw that. I don't know what they're talking about. The more I learn, the less I know. Absolutely. Then you really realize you don't know a damn thing. You just here to observe. Judy Woods did on 9/11. Yeah, that's a good one too. There's a bunch of them that are make you wonder how all this. Okay, let me just say this, and then I'll leave the 9/11 thing alone. The fact that they found paper passports and papers from the airplanes that were in the hijackers' pockets as they went in the plane, went into the building on the ground, a block away from ground zero, means that it was bullshit. Now, which way is it bullshit? I don't know. But you don't find papers. The plane disintegrated, but they found the passports. Did you know that, Rob?
No, I
They
didn't know
found
that.
papers and passports on the ground in New York after the fact that were on the hijackers. Think about that.
Well, you know, they said that Ed Dames said that I've had Ed Dames. He used to be on Art Bell and stuff. He said that Muhammad Atta is alive in Egypt or somewhere.
A lot of them are supposed to be. Again, I don't know anything. I mean, but then I saw in this documentary that I just saw with Loose Change, they were talking about there was a guy, one of the hijackers had his will confiscated with his bags. They caught two bags, caught two hijackers, whatever they caught in one of the airports. He had his will on him. What to do what? What do you have your will on you for? Like, some of this stuff is just so planted sideways. It's not even funny. Scene setting, yeah, they've all scene set. Everything was scene set. I don't know what that means. I'm not even going to go into what potentially happened because I have no idea. That's too much speculation. Earth, center of the universe, actually regaining its heart back, rebirth into something new. Planets, not planets. I believe that there's no such thing as a planet. There's not another Earth out there that we can see through our telescope. There's no way. So how do things like crop circles fit?
In the conversation?
I mean, great question. It's still a simulation. I think somebody's fucking with us from the outside. That's what I think's going on.
Or giving us good messages that we need to know about, because a lot of those crop circles mean stuff. Like the Arecibo crop circle actually had messages for humanity inside of it. And if you look at the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident, which is really interesting, that guy touched the UFO and he got a bunch of binary code downloads, which ended up being like messages for humanity, which had future premonitions of nuclear war up. And, you know, it was really strange. Like, you know, like, why would he get binary code? Then he wrote all that down. Then they transcribed it and it meant something. So what does that mean?
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that that's wrong, but when you got people that are translating stuff, we don't ever check the translation anyway, nor will we know how to fucking translate that. So, like, there's only so much evidence that's put, so much fact that I put into those things. I mean, we don't know that none of us can read a Sumerian tablet. We can't read binary code. Like, I mean, we don't even do the research that's online anyway. Who knew that cancer was cured by fasting? I mean, we just don't care as a species. We're just ignorant, and we just love our ignorance.
Yeah.
That one crop circle. Yeah, I mean, I had a crop circle on my window. That's what I think it was, to be honest. I didn't do it. My own discernment. Yeah, keep asking. That's a great comment right there. Still trying to figure out energy and my own discernment. It's why I'm beyond. It's why I'm beyond categories, but need a common language. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there at the end of that, but I think we all have a level of discernment. Hopefully, it's being raised. Ignorance is bliss. It can be. It can also be a mother effer. Ignorance sometimes isn't the end goal. And how did they translate them? Well, I mean, they translated the tablets because maybe the internet stories that are all fake. I mean, I don't know. I'm just
there's
saying.
A bunch of different people who translated them.
Yeah, I mean,
there's different Assyriologists.
How many people know? This is a good question. I'm going to piss somebody off right now. I guarantee it in 3, 2, 1. What was Jesus's name?
No one knows. No one. I mean, if he was real,
no one knows. Don't tell me your name's translated. Your name's Rob. You can't say your translated name is Rabashish or some nonsense. In 1,000 years, everybody called you Rabashish? I don't think so. It was Yahweh, then Yahweh's Lord. I mean, there's the translational aspects are in the mind of the beholder.
Yeah. We've been going about an hour and 10 minutes. I got to get ready for my next show. Do you want to tell everybody how they can find you? And thanks, Ken. This was amazing.
Yeah, check out the We Are One podcast. I have some stuff on there. I don't post very often right now. I may get back into it. I'm trying to get some good guests. If any of you all want to come on and talk about some stuff, I'm interested in talking to people who have experiences like mine. That's it. Thank you all for the questions. It was awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, Ken. This was awesome. Let's do this more often. This was awesome. And if you guys can support the channel, there'll be links in the description on how to do that. We could use it right now. And thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you all.
You can check out. I've been on a couple times on this show. If you haven't seen me on there, you can check them out. I think they were pretty conversations before. So
yeah. Check out Ken on my show. You can type in his name, Ken Valet, or Ken from We Are One and Typical Skeptic, and you'll see it.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. You guys have a good night. Keep manifesting.
Good night, guys. Thanks.